What's the call? What's the call? What's the call? What's the call? You say free them all and free Mumia Abu Jamal. We thank y'all for getting here today, for being with us today. We thank you all for joining us for a very important evening and a very important birthday. This is a day that we've all recognized to be one of the most important days this year as we go into next year, a year that's found us trying to find our way towards freedom and liberation for a very dear brother of ours and Mumia Abu Jamal, one of the most important political figures that we've certainly seen around the world. He is somebody that we've loved, somebody who we've cared for, somebody who we've advocated for, and ultimately somebody who's advocated for us. Is that right? So today is going to be a continuation of that work to not only free Mumia Abu Jamal, but to raise up the issues that Mumi has championed for the better part of the last 42 years, to bring out those issues that he's been talking about on his commentaries by way of prisonradio.org, and also by way of you all, the things that you all have done as independent activists, organizers, thinkers, concerned citizens, and revolutionaries. We thank you, we thank you. So give it up for yourselves. We want to thank all of the folks who traveled near and far to be here today. Those who found themselves here from New York City, raise it up for y'all. New York. All right. I think we got even some Jersey or Delaware in the house. All right. All right. All right. Massachusetts in the house. Right. Show them some love. Florida in the house. Let's go, Florida. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And it's beautiful. And Philadelphia's here, right? And so, we got Vermont here too. Vermont's here. All right. So, I'm about to say, we got France here. France is here, right? Where's our French folks here? Where are our French folks? We also got Chairman Fred here from Chicago. And I want to say this, when it comes to organizing events, it's truly an honor and a pleasure. This movement as a city and as a history is led by women, is that right? By women? Women have been the backbone of our movement. And so it gives me pleasure. Sometimes there are people who are in your midst, who are doing our work every day, who you realize from near and from far for their power, for their expertise, and for their commitment. So I just want to thank Ms. Saudia for being here today to co-host. You see Ms. Saudia with the Abolition School, W.E. Du Bois Abolition School. You've seen her in the past through the Philly Student Union in Philadelphia. Just been a magnificent organizer now with the Investment Project. But ultimately, she is a freedom fighter at the end of the day. And so I'm grateful for your energy and for your spirit. As folks continue to come on in from next door, hopefully you all enjoyed the food. But more importantly, as folks make their way in, if you see an empty seat next to you, please either A, take your bag off of it, and B, if you can, make space for it, right? And so as people are coming in, please make space for folks to sit next to you. That would be wonderful. Of course, before we get started officially, I'm gonna pass it over to my sister Saudia. We wanna thank the pastor and first gentleman here at the Waters Memorial AME Church. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I see first gentleman Ajane in the back. We got Pastor Stephanie as well. We thank you really eternally for your work and your agreement on this effort. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us.
So please give the warmest welcome to Johanna Fernandez. Thank you.
All right, I heard you guys had an incredible demonstration. It really is an honor to be here tonight. 56 years ago, at the height of an era of wars, revolutions, and social movements against colonial rule, against white supremacy, patriarchy, and capitalist exploitation the world over, the American ruling class and its junior partners around the world began to wage an unrelenting war of repression against those who had taken back their communities, workplaces, and colonized countries. They waged war against Black Panthers and Young Lords, against the American Indian movement, against the Sandinistas in Nicaragua, against the Union movement in the United States, the IRA in Ireland, against Umkhonto we Sizwe in South Africa, against the Palestinian Liberation Organization, and many other social movements and revolutions that were dreaming up a world without war, a world organized around human need, equality, and radical love. The ruling class orchestrated the assassination of our leaders, of Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, George Jackson, and the imprisonment of freedom fighters Angela Davis, Leonard Peltier, Jamil Al-Amin, Dhoruba bin Wahad, the Move 9, Sekou Odinga, Assata Shakur, Che Guevara, Chelsea Manning, and Julian Assange. The rulers turned the case of Mumia Abu-Jamal into a show trial to send a message to future generations of radicals about the consequences of dissent. They also destroyed our unions, decimated our wages, obliterated healthcare and mental health services, raided an already anemic social safety net here in the United States, gentrified affordable housing, and without a care in the world for the environmental apocalypse that awaits us, they eviscerated OSHA. Fearing uprisings and by the downtrodden, fearing uprisings of the downtrodden in this context, they built and filled unprecedented numbers of prisons with Black and brown and working people. They expanded their Darth Vader police forces. They built cop cities and continue to grow and deploy their monstrous war chest. In the last 50 years, the United States has relied on Israel to contain rebellion the world over, to train and arm the most brutal militias and governments around the globe that are critical to maintaining the violent chaos that facilitates Western mineral extraction and capitalist control of entire regions of the world. Israel armed the South African apartheid regime. Israel armed and trained the militias in Uganda and Rwanda, responsible for the past and present genocides in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Israel protected the killers of Patrice Lumumba. Israel armed the brutal Shah of Iran, trained and armed the Contras in Nicaragua, and the death squads in Central America and Guatemala that were putting down poor people's uprisings across the region in the 1980s. Israel training led to the killing of 200,000 indigenous people in Guatemala in a 10-year period. And we know that for 2 decades, the Israeli Defense Forces have trained US police in racial profiling and violent suppression of protest. This is why the United States has provided aid worth more than $124 billion to Israel. The world is on the side of Palestinians because Israel's attempt to pulverize Gaza is a microcosm of the terror the world's ruling class has inflicted on the globe for over 50 years. It is the battle of David and Goliath, the battle of the displaced against settlers who must dehumanize the displaced in order to justify their annihilation and permanent dispossession of indigenous people from their lands. As Malcolm X told us 50 years ago, quote, The Palestinian struggle is a moral battle, a universal fight, a resonating echo of the battles waged by oppressed people across the globe. And now Columbia students have created a prairie fire, and the university is now considering calling the National Guard to quash an epic student uprising against a genocide that's being live streamed on social media, but that is being denied by every major American institution and by the US press. The images we've seen of student uprisings spreading across the country and around the world is the moment we've been waiting for. It's the moment of radicalization when a whole generation sees that we cannot solve the crisis of homelessness here, nor can we fund education or healthcare, nor can we fix our bridges or the New York subway for that matter, but the US Congress can bankroll, as it did yesterday, a war bill to the tune of $95 billion to finance Israel's genocide against the poorest population on earth, one that Israel is already starving. It's the moment we see, this is the moment we see, a moment when we see that all of our struggles are connected, when we see that the liberation of Palestinians is tied up with the freedom of Mumia and Peltier and the emancipation of the human race. This is the moment when we determine to take back our society, our communities from the predations of our rulers. There is no better way to celebrate Mumia's birthday than to stand in the tradition he committed his life to long ago, and that is the tradition of revolutionary liberation. Free Mumia, free Palestine, free the human race, an end to colonialism and capitalism, and it's till victory and freedom for Peltier and Mumia this year. Thank you.
I think we have a very important person on the phone with us today right now. About to put him on live.
This call is not private. It will be recorded and may be monitored. If you believe this should be a private call, please hang up and follow facility instructions to register this number as a private number. To accept this free call, press "Thank you for using Securus." You may start the conversation now.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, are you? How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
Well, listen,
Birthday
feel
to ya.
happy
Happy
and
birthday.
It's hearing the voices of the people. And,
Wait, say that again?
If there's anything that makes me happy on this birthday is hearing the voices of the people. Because it's beautiful. It's wonderful. I appreciate it more than words can say. And you know, I have a few words, I always do. But I'm almost speechless right now, just vibing on the people and enjoying the sound of all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you all for being there. Thank you for always being there. Thank you for holding me up and helping me up when I get kicked down. And thanks for rumbling with me, and thanks for being who you are. Thanks for being there. I appreciate all of you, every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Do you have some words to share with us? We're gonna put.
I actually don't. I I didn't write anything. I didn't have anything prepared. I just wanted to.
We don't want to put you to work on your birthday. Hold on, I've got your son here. We've got your son here.
Hey, I told him I talked to you earlier. You called me. I had to pull over. I just wanted to just let people know that we always appreciate not only what you can do physically, but also keeping the positive energy in the world, because we as a people will free our people. One of my father's words is that he believed the people will ultimately free him, not a court. We won't force them, but the people will. Love you, Dad. Happy birthday.
That sounds like my boy, huh? That sounds like my son. You sound better than your old man, son. Well done.
Mumia, we got Pam who's just walked in. Do you have any words of solidarity for Pam and for the people of Palestine? We had an incredible march in Philadelphia. The French are here. People from Boston, from Detroit, from New York, Sekou, Sundiata Kohli.
Beautiful.
Wadia's children are here.
That's right.
Woo! Wadia's children are here.
That's right. Beautiful. I love you all. Never forget that. I love you all. Thank you.
This is a call from Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Illinois. This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
Hey, Mumia.
Hey, fam.
All right.
Hey, sister.
Okay, you got another part of your crew coming up here. I'm going to back off, okay?
Ab, it's Issa.
Hey, son.
Hey, happy birthday. I mean, it
birthday,
ain't happy.
Mumias. Ice.
Assalamu alaikum.
Hey, baby.
We miss you, and we just wanted to say we love you on your birthday and every day.
Happy birthday. This is from
I love you
Jade.
every day, too.
You know we love you. Stand strong always.
Wawa was your biggest supporter. You already know that.
I knew that. Guess what? Don't nobody know what I know it, huh?
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. It's great hearing y'all voices. You hear me?
Always, Ab. You know that. You know we
Stand
love you.
strong.
Love you
Always.
too. Love you too. Love you, Ice.
Wonderful.
Love you, Ice, he said. Mumia, Palestine is, Chairman Fred is here. Palestine is the issue of the hour. What do you have to tell us about Palestine?
This is their time. And that, when radical moments come around, we must grasp it with both hands. And when we see the carnage, the mega death that's been visited on the occupied territories of Palestine, it's time for us to raise our voices and to speak truth to power, but really speak out against this massive punishment against the people for daring to fight for their freedom, to fight for their land. When I think about Palestinians, I think about the indigenous people of the United States.
This is a
in
call
America.
from
I think about-
Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Mahanoy. This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
I think about so-called Native Americans because it really is the same dynamic, because Israel and the United States are settler colonial states. And they came to take the land from the people, right? In both situations. And they're trying to do that in Palestine the same way they did it over hundreds of years in the United States. Listen, how can it be that the indigenous people of the United States, the original people in what's now called the United States, live in reservations, in poverty? And the ghettos of Gaza, right, are too big for the appetite of the Israelis and the invaders. They want to put them on reservations or wipe them out. Do not get it twisted. So now is the time to speak out and speak up and stand with the oppressed of Gaza, the West Bank, the occupied just did a commentary a few days ago about blacks in Palestine. Don't get that twisted. Our people are there and have been there for several centuries in Palestine. There are black Palestinians over there.
That's right.
And they get bombed like everybody else. So remember, when the people are oppressed, it's their duty to fight for freedom. So long live the freedom of the Palestinian people.
Woo!
Free Congo, free Sudan, free Haiti. Mumia.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mumia. We love you.
Love you all.
I got to talk to you. Don't hang up.
Give it up, y'all, again, y'all, for Mumia Abu Jamal. Let him hear your voice. Let him hear your voice. Let him hear it, let him hear it, let him hear it, let him hear it, let him hear it. Louder, 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 louder. When I tell you, every time we hear Mumia Abu Jamal's voice, it is a powerful moment, is that right? It is a great opportunity just to hear brilliance, intelligence at play and at work. You know, he is somebody who, like I said earlier, has been really our North Star in many ways for black liberation, and in many ways articulates and demonstrates all the brilliance and dragons we got in the prisons, as George Jackson once said. First of all, thank you for participating in that and giving him his love, because we know on his birthday sometimes it can be challenging. And as Mumia has always said, there are cellmates of his and friends of his on the inside who don't get this on their birthdays, right? And so we want to acknowledge them as well. We want to acknowledge all those. Give them up, make them some noise, y'all. You may not know them, but they on the inside. They at SEI Mahanoy, SEI Green, right? They up CFCF State Road, right? All the prisons across the world need our love, right? When we say free them all, we don't say free some. We don't say free a few. We don't say free one. Is that right? We say free them all. Is that right? We say free them all. So we're going to keep this thing moving. But thank you very much again for being here today. With that being said, I want to bring up our brother. You know, if I say reclaim Osage, y'all say reclaim Osage. Reclaim Osage. Reclaim Osage. Reclaim Osage. And there's going to be a book coming out this year called On the Move that is going to be talking about this legacy, this rich legacy. As I bring up our brother Mike Africa Jr., I also want to acknowledge who's in the house tonight. We also have Ramona Africa here today as well. Janet and Janine Africa are here today as well. So show love to them, please. I believe they're downstairs. Show love to Ramona Africa, Janet and Janine. But if you can, please, and Eddie's here too. Shout out to Eddie Africa, y'all. Shout out to Eddie Africa, y'all. Peace to Eddie. And all the Move Now have been released, all right? Oh, okay, I see it now. I see it on the back. Okay, stand up if you can. If you're able to stand, please stand, please. If you're able to stand. There it is, there it is, there it is. Let's go. Janet, Janine, and Eddie, y'all. Show them some love. Thank you so much. I'm sorry for missing y'all. With that being said, family, I want to bring up my brother and yours, Mike Africa Jr., y'all. Hard work. Hard work.
Hard work. On the move, y'all. Long live revolution. Long live John Africa. Long live Mumia Abu Jamal. Long live the spirit of resistance. And free Palestine. And the Congo. Come on. Free them all. And Haiti. And Haiti. And we can do this all day. And we're going to have to. We're going to have to do this all day. We're going to have to do this all week, all year, all month, all summer, all winter, all decade. We're going to keep on fighting until we free. What happened? Okay.
Real quick, sorry about that. If you're License plate is LWT 4184. Please attend to your car, please, outside. All right?
It's a Subaru.
Take care of that. It's a Subaru, right? LWT 4184. I'm going to say it one more time. LWT 4184. The folks are going to do what they do. Be good? Thank you.
Good catch.
Good catch, see?
Okay. Now, look here, y'all. I had a whole list of things that I wanted to talk about when Gabe called me and asked me to speak. And when I heard Mumia, all those thoughts went out of my mind. And now I don't know what to say. You know, I made a post on Facebook today about birthdays and how people are supposed to celebrate those at home with their families and with their friends. And Mumia and so many other people are not allowed to do those things because of the system and the power and also the danger in people telling their own stories or just telling the truth about something. Telling the truth is a very dangerous thing. On May 13th, 1985, when the government dropped that bomb, they killed 11 people. 13 people were bombed and shot at, and some were shot, and some were burned, and they were thrown back into the fire. And people talked about those things, and they were targeted by the government for speaking about them. And before that, when Move's house was raided in Powelton, some of y'all remember that, saw that barrage of police gunfire shooting at my family, at the Move family. And they saw the police beat Delbert. They kicked him so hard they lifted him up in the air. This is long before Rodney King. And Delbert survived that beating. And Mumia talked about that beating. And he didn't do what some of the other journalists were doing, which was speaking the narrative that Frank Rizzo, racist Frank Rizzo, baby killing Frank Rizzo, wanted to talk about. He spoke the truth. We went to Holmesburg Prison. He went to the House of Correction, and instead of just saying Move spouted their usual rhetoric, he said, Move, what do you have to say? And he let Move talk. And then instead of editing what Move said, he just played what Move said. And that was a problem. That was a problem for Frank Rizzo, because Frank Rizzo wanted Move silenced. They didn't want the teaching of John Africa to be a public thing, because when you hear the truth, when you hear John Africa talk about these injustices in the system, it makes sense. And people are compelled to resist this injustice. Just like when the Black Panthers talked about these issues, people were compelled to listen and they were rising up. And then COINTELPRO, this whole COINTELPRO, how many pages do COINTELPRO have on Mumia Abu-Jamal? And what is COINTELPRO's process? Any potential black messiah, find a way to discredit them, to dissuade the support that they may accrue. And if there's any misdeeds in their background with women or men or finances, find a way to bring that out. Use the news media as a weapon. And there are hundreds of pages in COINTELPRO specifically about Mumia Abu-Jamal. One of the times I visited Mumia, he said J. Edgar Hoover, director of the FBI, used to ride past him while he was with his wife, his pregnant wife, and he would point at her belly. Mumia's been a target. When he was a 14-year-old, he was a member of the Black Panther Party writing articles talking about the injustices. You know, Mumia has such a rich history of advocacy. And some of the people that we know of today that we hear that we write about, that we read about, that are being taught in these schools, like Cecil B. Moore, who was Mumia's first attorney in a case where Mumia was attacked by a police officer and he was totally innocent, did nothing wrong. Mumia embodies freedom and professionalism in his journalistic approach. And because he's honest in his writings, he is the biggest threat that any journalist has ever been. And this is why it's important to free him. Because if we don't have the truth, what do we have? We got, isn't it incredible that in a nation of 336 million people, the best that they have to offer as our leaders is Genocide Joe and Dump Truck. Listen, it's pathetic. They should be ashamed of themselves. But see, here's the thing. It would take a derelict like those two people to see what's happening in Palestine and continue to do it. Any normal red-blooded American wouldn't do anything that way. But this is what we have. And because Mumia is one that would speak out about these injustices, and he, oh man, with his voice, when he start talking and people hear his voice, they don't even have to hear what he said, they just fall in love with his voice. Oh my God, did you hear what he said? And it's just powerful, and therefore it moves people to attention. And then when they recognize that this man is speaking the truth, it's even more moving, and it makes him even more dangerous. And that's why it's important to free him. The first time I ever visited Mumia, I was on a prison trip. Pam took me, where'd Pam go? Pam took me to see my dad, who was a prisoner, was part of the Move 9. He's free now. And at the time, I was a rapper, aspiring artist. And I wrote a song, I think it was called On the Move. And Mumia heard it, and he said, when you finish with that one, write another one. And then he said, when you finish with that one, write another one. And I said, what you gonna do? He said, I'm gonna write one myself. It's called Live from Death Row. Remember that book? Live from Death Row. And he said, Mike, it is so important to tell your own story. Recently, within the last few years, he told me I should write a book. And I've been working on that. And I wrote a book published by HarperCollins. It's coming out August 6th, and it's called On the Move. I only hope to be able to follow in Mumia Abu-Jamal's footsteps to tell the truth. That's what it's about. It is so important for us to tell our own stories, because when Hollywood tells your story, when Kitty Caparella tells your story, when these journalists who have agendas to support the system to line their pockets, they don't tell your story the way your story is or needs to be told. So you gotta write your own story, and you gotta take control of the narrative. And that's what Mumia Abu-Jamal is about, taking control of the narrative. There's another thing we got going on. 40 years of the bombing is coming up. After this May, there's another May. And there's a lot of activity going to be happening. But one thing that we're trying to do, like I said, we're trying to tell our own story and preserve the legacy. So we created this thing called the Move Archive. And the purpose of it is to collect and gather Move history and put it all in one place. For the last maybe 5 or 7 years, I've been working on that. And now I have some help from my sister, Dr. Crystal Strong. And we've been working on this, and this May, I have some flyers. This May, we're going to be doing our first exhibit to talk about move from the old days. From my great uncle, John Africa, started the organization, and we're going to be talking about him and why he started the organization and the lead up and where we are now. And you better believe our brother, Mumia Abu Jamal, will be a part of that. We would not be where we are today without Mumia Abu Jamal. And a lot of people wouldn't know about MOVE at all without Mumia Abu Jamal. So we honor him, we respect him, and we love him for his work. And we want to bring him home as soon as possible so that he could be among his family and friends instead of guards. That's all I got, y'all. Free Mumia. Free Mumia. Free Mumia. On the move.
And then we want to bring up our brother, as we said. I know. As I was saying, though, I wanted to bring him up last, and that's somebody who we love dearly, who came from a long way, miles and miles and miles and miles across the waters to be with us tonight. That's Daruba bin Wahad, y'all. Black Power. So, how we doing this? How we doing this? So we gonna let Mama Nzinga and Jaruba provide the words, and then we'll keep moving. So I'm gonna give y'all the microphone, and then y'all can provide a few words for us.
Before me and Daruba speak about anything, we want everybody on this stage to say who they are and what chapter they represent.
Brother Shep, New York State Chapter, Harlem, Bronx. Brother Tyreek, I'm from the Brooklyn chapter. Peace.
Regina Jennings, I was a Philadelphia girl, but I jumped a late plane to go to Oakland before they were Panthers in Philly. So I'm an East Oakland Panther.
All power to the people, black power to black people, Panther power to the vanguard. Ade Oba Tokumbo, Harlem Ranch.
Barbara Easley Cox, Oakland, New York, Philadelphia, International Chapter of the Black Panther Party!
Sundiata Acoli. Harlem chapter.
Step aside. Step aside.
Bill Brown, Philadelphia chapter.
I'm the Panther Cub, daughter of Russell Maroon Schultz out of Philadelphia. Woo.
I'm the daughter of Bilal Sunni Ali and Palani Sunni Ali of the Harlem Bronx chapter, the notorious Harlem Bronx chapter in New York.
I'm Dadiji Odinga, the son of Sekou Odinga from the Bronx Harlem chapter, the notorious Bronx Harlem chapter.
I'm Nana Akuya Enum Oyemi Niamiche. I'm also AKA Patty Bird. You know, I'm all those. And when I answer to whatever someone is calling me, because my cubs over there, they call me Bad Baby. No matter where I am, if I hear somebody holler, "Bad Baby," I said, "Them cubs, they ratting me out." But they be looking out for me. They be making sure that I'm all right and I'm safe. And I'm just proud for this moment that we're being honored. And I just want to say a few of these political prisoners' names. And if I don't say a political prisoner that you know, after I'm through, please shout out. Brother Alameen Jamal, J.L. Alameen, and Veronica Bowser, who will be out May 7th or 8th. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Zulu Whitmore, Kamal Siddiqui, Joseph Bowden, Ronald Reed. Anybody that y'all know that I'm missing?
Kwame Shakur, young brother from Indiana, Prison Lives Matter.
Free Mumia Abu Jamal. And we're not talking about later, we're talking about right now. Right now. It's important, and we've got to keep the holler out. The people can move and move mountains. So let's move them. We need Mumia home. His health is not good, and we need him home where we can take care of him and put him back in good health. So I'm going to turn this over to my brother, and I'm going to stand here. Get my brother's love.
Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people.
The power belongs to the people. Don't ask for it, take it. It's yours.
I just want to say briefly that my comrade Mumia Abu Jamal, the brilliant writer, brilliant analyst and speaker who has spoken for the voiceless all of his young adult life until this very moment at 70 years old. Mumia has been a valuable asset to the liberation of African people in the diaspora. He is well known around the world. He is revered and loved by people, oppressed people everywhere. And it's because of the work of brothers and sisters like yourself and like my comrades here from the original Black Panther Party that Mumia's name still resonates. We have lost comrades in the last year. We have lost my beloved comrade, Sekou Odinga. Lee Barry, Blood McCrary. We have lost so many of our brothers and sisters. Some brothers and sisters can't be here today, like Jamal Joseph, like so many other brothers, Jaleel Mutakim. And my comrades, I just want to say to this, my generation is the last of the loud. And we have lived our time and we have fought our fight, but our fight is not over. And we are here today in our minds and bodies, as feeble and strong as they may seem and they may be. Nobody gets out this life alive. But the purpose that we are here for in this life, is the purpose that Allah put us here for, the Creator put us here for. And that we are the dreams of our ancestors who were brought over in chains. We were their dream. That one day they would rise up amongst them, a generation that would fight for our liberation and fight for our freedom and not give up that fight. And I'm honored to be here with comrades who walked that walk with me, who fought that fought with me, and who I would give my life for, and they would willingly have given theirs for me. But I want to say one thing right now, that we are living in a historical moment. These are crying times and these are liberating times. We cannot back down. We have to build a type of infrastructure and networks that will allow our people to feel their freedom, and we have to understand something. We had a saying in the Black Liberation Army whenever we went out on a mission, whenever we went out on a task. And we would look each other in the eye, and we would stand firm with each other. We'd check our weapons, and we say, blood to the horse's brow and woe to those who cannot swim. blood to the horse's brow, and woe to those who cannot swim. And what that meant was, once we stepped out that door, once we were committed to our struggle on the armed front, that we were taking no hostages, we were taking no prisoners, and those who couldn't swim, those who couldn't survive the wrath of the people, woe to them. Twyman Myers is not here. Frank Fields is not here. These are comrades that died in combat. Well, we have to understand, just like Hamas, you cannot take the liberation struggle away from a people and kill their will to survive and defend themselves and defend their people. So when we look at what's happening in Palestine right now, in this historical moment, they changed the whole paradigm of Western Asia. They were kicked under the rug and would have been forgotten. The United States had made agreements with bootlicking Arab governments to gloss over them, to abandon them, and to make peace with the European settler Zionist state of Israel. Israel is a European Zionist settler project. It's the last settler project that has started over 300 years ago. It's the last one. And they will go down just like the rest of these crackers will go down. But like Curtis Mayfield said, these Zionists, they know they're on their last leg. They know the world is turned against them, and they reveal their hand to everybody. We have a new generation of young people that have taken to the streets, that have gotten out on the streets, that's being arrested now as we speak, all around the world. It's a new generation. So brothers and sisters, our job is to educate, to liberate. Our job is to make sure that these young folks have the type of guidance, have the type of confidence, and have the type of historical memory that they need in order to triumph in this historical moment, in this decline of U.S. imperialism and U.S. hegemony. The Sudan is facing a crisis far more extensive in human terms than what's happening in Palestine and the genocide. Almost 1 million people are on the verge of starvation. 20 million people have been displaced from their homes. And the major architects of this is the United Arab Emirates, who are supplying arms, and the United States is supplying arms to the United Arab Emirates to change the paradigm of the Sudan. We have to understand who our enemies are and give them no quarter. Give them no quarter. When they come out to speak, we should be there to smack them down, to yell them down, to shout them down. Don't let our enemies speak. They won't let us speak. They lock us up. Don't let them speak. We have to do more than just talk about organizing. We have to stand firm against the oppressors and against these ravagers and these pirates and these enemies of the sun. So I just want to say this in closing and let the program move on. Because this is my comrade Mumia's 70th birthday. He's a baby. He was a baby then. He was 15 then when he was a deputy lieutenant of information. He's a baby now. But he's our baby. And we will free him. And I will say one thing. That just like when Huey P. Newton was in prison, we had a saying say, free Huey or the sky's the limit. So we need to build an infrastructure. We need to build the type of organizations that could exact the consequence on this system, on these pigs, if they do not free our comrade, our brother. We can't just demonstrate. We have to understand what they have in plan for us. What they're doing in Palestine, they will do to us. So we need to make this clear. We need to train. We need to organize. We can't mourn, we have to organize. We have to build to win. We have to do all of these things that require our struggle and our sacrifice and our dedication. So I just want to say in ending, Sister just flashed the 1 minute silence, but you know, I don't usually recognize stuff like that. But I'm going to do this now out of courtesy because I got to get in the wind. But I just want to say I'm humbled to be here. I'm fortunate to be here, all the way from Africa. I'm here. And the comrades from the Ghana Socialist Party, they send their freedom in their struggle. The comrades from PACA send their freedom in their struggle. Back in the days when we were united with the Palestinian movement, when we had a functioning, unified alliance with the PFLP in 1967, in 1968, 1969, when one of the sisters here who was in the international section, she understood, daily she saw the movements that passed through the doors of the international section of the Black Panther Party. Well, we have to forge those alliances again. And right now in Vienna, brothers and sisters are taking to the streets to free Mumia, to call for an end to the genocide in Palestine. So we need to say in solidarity to all of these people, power to the people, power to all of our people, and death to the fascist pigs. Power to the people.
On our way out, I want to hold up for 1 minute. I want to say something to the young people in this audience. I'm always asked, what can we young people do? We didn't have a blueprint, and y'all do have one because you have what we've struggled to do. So y'all get out there and make a name for yourself, do it your way, and come to any of us OGs, and we will give you advice and help you to work things out. I just want y'all to know that. We're here for you, but we are old people, and I want you to also pray for a lot of the elder Panthers that are ill. I won't call them out by name, but there are a lot of elder Panthers that are ill. So, young people, do you. Make your mark, and come call Auntie anytime you want.
There you go. Give it up again, y'all. Give it up again, y'all. Give it up again. Give it up again. Show them your love. Show them your love. Show them your love. Show them your love. We want to also acknowledge our movement lawyers who are in the room who helped free some of these people. I see Bob Boyle in the room. Shout out to Bob Boyle. Shout out to all the movement lawyers who've been on the front lines, who freed Dhoruba, right? So let's always make sure that we acknowledge those movement lawyers who have been on the front lines. But thank you to the Panthers who being here today. I want to bring up our comrade who's been diligently working with us and really around the East Coast and around the country. We've been talking about, the importance of free Palestine. And so the Samadoun, Palestinian Prisoner Network and Solidarity Network has been powerful, and they've been doing some phenomenal work for a long, long time. And I can tell you from having visited Palestine myself with an important delegation about 6 years ago, and seeing on the front lines in cities like Haifa and Ramallah and Hebron and East Jerusalem, seeing it up close, you're reminded of why this important work of Samadoun is so important. And so I want to bring them up, and then also I want to give an announcement for the New York folks. After he speaks, the New York folks, their bus will be ready to leave. So for New York people, just know that. We thank you for coming here and being here with us all day today. Thank y'all, New York folks. I want to personally thank Gil for helping to coordinate things in their city. Shout out to Gil. And really the whole Free Mumia NYC campaign and movement who's been supporting Mumia Abu-Jamal for a long time. Thank you, Judith. Thank you, Nita. Thank you, Betsy Mickle, and so many others who are here today. Gwen, Jacqueline, all you all, thank you so much for just your consistent efforts week in and week out. Thank you all. Free Palestine, y'all. Free Mumia Abu-Jamal. Samadoun.
Hello. I just want to thank everyone for being here. I've been anxious about when I'm going to speak because I didn't want to be very early because you haven't heard the other speakers. But now I'm very upset at how many people went on before me and how many people I'm going to have to live up to. The amazing speeches that we've heard all night, these people whose name precedes them. And that's part of one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight. I wanted to talk about Mumia, and I really appreciated how many people were talking about Palestine tonight, and how that was the main focus. It's really important, like Mumia was saying, to give movements their time. When it's time to focus on this, we focus on this. It's It's really, really useful. And it's something we always try to do at Samadoun. We always focus on all different movements whenever it's their time. We always try to highlight all the different political prisoners here in the US, in the Middle East, in France, everywhere in the world. And one of the things I wanted to talk about with Mumia is that there's a quote by Kevin Rashid Johnson, another political prisoner here in the US, and another writer, a brilliant writer, where he says, Mumia isn't free because we're not free. And that's the thing we always have to remember with this kind of stuff, because it's easy to come out to an event like this and then go home and think, my work is done. You know, once a year you go to Mumia's birthday. That's nothing. And I don't mean to say, you know, this isn't important, it's crucial, but this is one day. There's 364 other days. What are you doing that other time? What are you doing? You got a free hour over here, free 15 minutes. How are you finding a way to work this into your daily life? And the thing that we find the most important in Samadoun is getting to know the prisoners, remembering them, getting to know their lives. A lot of people talk about Mumia, but they don't know much about his life. They know Mumia the prisoner, but before he was a prisoner, he was out and he was doing work. And like we've heard about, his journalism was amazing because he let the people speak. That's what he did. And because he was so dedicated to it. I was reading about Mumia in preparation for this speech, and I was just surprised at how much I didn't know. And I do these kind of speeches, I always try to include Mumia because he's so important. But still, every time I learn more and more. There's an endless trove of information just on this one person, and we can learn how to emulate him by studying his history. If you look at Mumia, his journalism was so powerful from such a young age that he was being followed by the FBI. He was being profiled by all different people, and he was being targeted constantly. Not only that, he was driven out of a ton of different journalism jobs. He eventually had to become a cab driver. And that's part of what led to this whole situation in the first place. That's where the frame-up happened. You know, it was because he was a late-night cab driver to make ends meet. So that's the kind of spirit that we should be emulating. We should be so dedicated to the truth that if we lose our job, that's okay. We get a second job. We do something maybe we don't want to do. He doesn't want to be a cab driver. He wants to be a journalist, but he wants to be a journalist for the people so badly that he'll sacrifice everything. And that's the spirit that we always want to get across. That's the spirit that we want to take with us, because that's why these prisoners are behind bars, because they fought for us day in and day out. And the thing that would free them is if we were more like them. We have to get to know them. If you look at Mumia's life, you also find that he was at one point very innocent-minded. He didn't really understand what was happening. He went with some of his comrades and they protested. They protested George Wallace, and they went in and they were shouting and yelling him down, and then they were beaten by the white racists in the crowd. There's a whole crowd of white racists, obviously, because it's George Wallace. And Mumia yelled out to a cop. He saw a cop, and he said, "Help, I'm being beaten." And that cop came over and kicked him in the face. And Mumia says, "I want to thank that cop because he kicked me right into the Black Panther Party." And so it's easy when you hear all these people speak, people who are living martyrs, right, who have dedicated their life to the struggle, to feel, I could never be like that. But here's Mumia, right? He's saying, oh, this cop, come help me. He learns, you know, he learns in practice. We all learn in practice. There are no born revolutionaries. Revolutionaries are made. It's a practical process, day in and day out, confronting injustice. And then what is your response to that injustice? Are you so focused on yourself? Are you, oh, woe is me, I'm dealing with this. What about everyone else? What about everyone dealing with it? I mean, Mumia is obviously constantly being the target of racism. But what does he do? He focuses on MOVE. He focuses on other things happening in Philly. He's not making it all about himself. He's focusing on everyone. He's trying to make it a collective struggle. And still, to this day, I mean, we just heard him on the phone. Mumia doesn't talk about himself. He talks about everyone else and everywhere else. It's that spirit of martyrdom, like we have in Palestine. That's what gets people to that apex of human struggle, to be so dedicated that their whole life is for the people. The director of the prison radio, Noel Hanrahan, she says, "You know how good of a journalist you are by how uncomfortable you make the people in power." And that's a really important thing for us to keep in mind. When we say names, how uncomfortable does it make people in power? Even sometimes just people on the streets. A couple of years ago, we were at a protest here for Mumia, and this guy just came out and ran over, and he's like, cop killer, cop killer. He's yelling and he's shouting us down. People are still mad about it. People are still trying to take that complete nonsense fabrication into practice and believe it. That's how important this case is. It's still on people's minds. And that's why we also try to focus on the prisoners in Palestine and do the same thing with their cases. We say, Walid Daqqa, who recently passed away, a Palestinian prisoner who's one of the most important prisoners in Palestine because of his contributions to the movement, because he was, just like Mumia, constantly talking to the people, constantly getting things out there. They even had a child. He even had a child while he was in prison. He was constantly trying to find a way to continue the struggle from within prison. So that's the main thing I want us to do, right? When we get out of here, continue the struggle. Find a way every day. I'm sure you have sometimes 30 minutes or 15 minutes or an hour. Watch a documentary on Mumia, learn some more, try to educate your friends, try to take these people's lives and their practice into your consciousness every single day. And so I just want to wrap up and leave you with a quote from the chairman of the PFLP, Ahmed Sadat, and is a political prisoner right now in Palestine, and whose writing is constantly at the forefront of our struggle. He says, from Ansar to Attica to Lan Maison, the prison is not only a physical space of confinement, but a site of struggle of the oppressed confronting the oppressor. Whether the name is Mumia Abu Jamal, Walid Daqqa, or George Ibrahim Abdullah, political prisoners behind bars can and must be a priority for our movements. These names illustrate the continuity of struggle against our collective enemies. Their legacies of organizing that reach back to the anti-colonial liberation movements of the 1960s, 1970s, 1980s to today. Thank you.
Yes, yes, give it up again, give it up again, give it up again, give it up again. What's the call? What's the call? From the river to the sea. From the river to the sea. Amazing. As we continue into moving into our final speakers, something that I wanted to just name and touch on that I appreciated that I heard earlier was how Mumia is, not was, right, is such a major influence for teaching our young people how the spirit of rebellion and resistance, it's inherent in us, right? I know that because I have a little one here who practices her resistance daily, right? Steps into her political power. Comrade Gigi, as we call her in some circles. But right, just talking about what Mumia represented so much, right? When he was organizing in front of Benjamin Franklin High School, right? Talking to young people, knowing the crap they were getting in the schools was not teaching them their history or their inherent worth to resisting the state and the system that they're in, and talking about how important it was to see young people excited to leave their classrooms because they knew the real lessons were in the streets. Right, and we know Mumia has taught us so much that our work, our study, and our lessons are in the streets, and that it's up to us to always tell the truth because we know the media will not do it for us. Right, they will sell us the neoliberal, the imperialist language, right, the fascist language of oppression, but we know that it's up to us to have our own media, our own content, our own images, our own messages, right, our own t-shirts that represent the truth.
Authoring several books himself, speaking on behalf of Mumia Abu Jamal many times over the years, on behalf of all the press people everywhere. And I can remember, if I can just share this as I'm bringing him up, being on a plane with this brother, coming from Palestine, and everybody was sleeping and everybody was watching movies. This brother's at his seat, typing away. I kept looking over like through the seat, like what is he typing? He's typing. And we landed in New York City, and he said, yeah, I got to be at the UN in about an hour. And that would become a very unforgettable moment in time as we watch this brother give this speech and share those words from the river to the sea. But in the spirit of boldness and humanity, speak truth to power in the most sincere and authentic way. He's a brother of ours, he's a brother of yours, and he's committed at every turn. Even when he's got multiple things going on, he's going to be here. And so with that being said, family, what we're going to do is bring up Mark Lamont Hill.
Free the land. That's a mic right here. I know it's about time to go home, and I apologize for being here so late. It's been a crazy day in about 4 cities. But I couldn't not be here for my brother, Mumia Abu-Jamal. This is a moment of multiple things. First, this is a moment of remembrance. You know, Mumia has made it to the age of 70. That is a victory in and of itself. They didn't want Mumia to live to be 70 or 60 or 50 or 40. The prison that he's in, the prisons that he's been in, the dungeons that he's been forced to live in inside of SCI this and SCI that have been designed and constructed like they had been for everybody else to kill us, to destroy our spirits, to destroy our minds, to destroy our families, to destroy our communities, and ultimately to destroy ourselves, our bodies, our lives. And Mumia is a testimony to what happens when you struggle, when you resist, and when you fight. But you don't do it as an individual, you do it as a collective. Mumia's 70th birthday is a celebration for him, but it's a celebration for every single person that has rolled up their sleeves, put their hand to the plow, and done the work of making sure that the state keeps their hands off of our brother. And I see so many people here, whether it's Betsy, whether it's Pam, whether it's Gabe, whether it's Johan. I can name so many people, Brother Mike, so many people here. In an individual effort, even at the level of resistance, we only win when we struggle together. We don't need no celebrity activists. We don't need no brands. We need reputations. We need people who are willing to struggle and sacrifice for the movement, and that's what Mumia has always done. I always sort of tease Mumia about the books he writes. Because he writes, first of all, he writes so many of them. And I wrote a book with Mumia, and people think I write fast. I send Mumia something, he sent it back in like 2 days, the whole chapter done. And I said to him, why do you not write about yourself more? You wrote one book that kind of gets at your experience. This is somebody who's been railroaded, somebody who's been lied on, somebody who has been, from the very moment he entered those handcuffs, been completely, not just mistreated, but been a model for how the United States picks and chooses who they want to prosecute, picks and chooses when they want to use the Constitution, picks and chooses when they believe in justice, because for every single time we've gone to that courthouse, there has been a Mumia exception. Every single time. He could have written books on how the Constitution has failed him. He could have written books on how judges pretend to be impartial, but people like Judge Sabo decide that they're going to be the judge, jury, and executioner. They're going to be the prosecutor and the defense attorney. They're going to be the decider of somebody's fate, even if it flies in the face of everything that America says it's supposed to be. He saw that. He could have written books about that. He could have signed away scripts to have movies made about him. But what he did instead is spend his life fighting for other people. He's written far more about the Move 9 than he has himself. He's written far more about the atrocity that happened on Osage Avenue than he's written about himself. He's written far more about those brothers who don't have death row, who don't have life sentences, but who still need a jailhouse lawyer. He's written about that. Why? Because Mumia said it ain't about me. It's about us. And so it's a day of celebrity, but it's a day of remembrance, but it's also a day of celebration, but it's also a day of purification. We got to purify our commitment to struggle. We got to remind ourselves of why we got here, because all of us can get caught up in this. All of us can get caught up in who get the mic last, who get the biggest name, who get the biggest shout out, who gets the shout out in the book, who gets the shout out at the rally, who gets the shout out on the rap verse, who gets this, who gets that. We all can get, I know I can, we all can get caught up in that. But when we come back to the fact that this man has been on death row for most of his adult life and now sits in slow death row with a life sentence that he does not deserve, when we look back at that, we got to remember that our commitment ain't to us, it's to them. And it isn't just about Mumia. Mumia is a model for a state that continues to lock up people for their political positions. A state that continues to have more political prisoners than the so-called axes of evil, the so-called bad nations. We talk all that stuff. We do all that red baiting. We talk all that stuff about China and Cuba, all these lies. But at the very same time, we continue to cage more people than anybody else in the world. He is a marker of that crisis. Today's also a day of victory, though. Because sometimes when you struggle and you don't win, you can start to think about this like it ain't worth struggling for no more. I'll never forget, we were at the Constitution Center. You were there, you were there, you were there, you were there, you were there. We celebrated Mumia getting off death row. And some white leftists pulled me aside after I left the Constitution Center. He said, "What's wrong with you, man? What are you up here celebrating Mumia for? He's still on slow death row," which we all agreed on. I mean, he's still got life. How are you celebrating anything? Shame on all of you all for celebrating. He's still got life. This isn't a victory, this is a loss. I was like, damn, that's heavy. I started feeling bad, Johanna, for feeling good. I was ashamed of myself for being proud that people like Pam, the long distance runners, had got him free off of death row. I said, damn, here I am thinking that we done did something and we ain't did nothing. About a month later, I went to Graterford, visiting Mumia. And I went to see him and I gave him a hug. It's the first time I hadn't seen him at SCI Green on death row. And I told him, I said, Mumia, yo, I gotta tell you something. I like to tell Mumia because he's smarter than me, he read more. So I was like, I gotta tell him that, you want to tell your old heads you got something. I was like, yo, bro, I'm in on this. I found out, I thought about it, man, this ain't no victory. This is a loss. We ain't did nothing. Mumia looked at me and he said, shit. He said, anybody who say that ain't never been on death row. He said, we did a whole book together and we did it behind concrete and steel. Now I gave you a hug for the first time. He said, I hadn't seen Wadia and been able to kiss Wadia in years, but I could do it. His beloved wife, may she rest in peace. He said, I could do it because of what y'all did. I got grandchildren who I could hug for the first time. I was doing 23-1 for most of my life. I was deprived of human contact, and now I got it. What do you mean it wasn't a victory? Thank you. Because of your struggle, we can fight to live another day and live to fight another day so that one day I could be free, but more importantly, we can all be free. Celebrate the victories. Celebrate the victories. If not for you and you and you and you, Mumia wouldn't be here celebrating the 70th. And maybe if not for Mumia, we wouldn't be here right now with the political clarity to know that we got more work to do. Because it's also a day of re-energization. I'm gonna make up a word, Jesse Jackson, re-energization. We gotta get re-energized for the next phase. Because we pat ourselves on the back, but we keep going. It's like we tell our kids at them 8th grade graduations, when they got the limos and the suits, cool, but you still got to go to high school. Still got work to do. If Mumia does not come home, or if, as my brother said, if Mumia comes home in some liberal, self-congratulatory stunt to bring our brothers and sisters home 1 week before they die, or 1 month before they die so that they can pretend that they had mercy, then we have not succeeded. Not because of the outcome, but because of our failure to keep fighting. The victory is in what? The struggle. And we will continue to struggle for Mumia. But we won't let Mumia become a celebrity prop either, because he don't want that. We will fight for Mumia, but we will fight for every brother, sister, man, woman, and child that's inside of those dungeons right now, because every prisoner is a political prisoner in this white supremacist capitalist empire. And we're going to fight to free them all. Somebody say, free them all. Free them all. Free them all. And so that's the work we got to do. But as I said, the celebration ain't individual. The remembrance ain't individual. And so the struggle can't be individual. We got to organize. Organized people defeat organized power every time. So let's organize. Let's join movements. We ain't got to start an organization. Everybody ain't got to start something. I go places, 50 black people in 25 organizations. Everybody president and vice president. That's not our struggle. That's not our tradition. Our tradition is organized, fighting, resisting. Somebody might be in front, but somebody else got to be organized. And somebody got to be bailing somebody out of jail. Somebody got to be doing political education. Somebody got to be doing confrontation. Somebody got to be doing study. Somebody got to be doing healing. Somebody got to be doing praying. All of it matters in this struggle. So find your place. Find your role, submerge your ego, remember our ancestors, and continue to fight for the legacy of our brother Mumia Abu Jamal, brick by brick.
Give it up, y'all, for Mike Lamar Hill, y'all. So we are at the end. We want to thank Waters Memorial AME Church, Pastor Atkins, for being such a phenomenally gracious host. Thank you, Pastor Atkins. Thank you, Brother Ajane, First Gentleman Ajane. Thank you so much for being just incredible. Thank you, everybody that's been watching on live stream for the past really all day. Thank you all who've been watching on live stream. We're gonna, as people are leaving, show the final videos, but please make your way out. But they will be playing on your way out, because we know people like to talk and walk, but make your way out, all right?